Looks like a great wide receiver class for the 2024 NFL Draft. We'll talk about the top prospects right now. Adam Azer and Dave Richard here on Fantasy Football Today in 5. We could have 3 wide receivers in the top blank. Wouldn't surprise you.
6. Top 6 overall picks. Hold on. Make it 7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would be Harrison, Nabers, and Odunze. And let's talk about them. Where do you want to see Marvin Harrison go?
Where do I want to see him go, or where am I going to end up watching him go? Because those are 2 very different questions. You know, I'd love to see him go to Kansas City. That would be wonderful. It's not going to happen. I think he's going to be an Arizona Cardinal. He's obviously the son of Marvin Harrison. Y'all remember him from the Colts. A little bit of a different player than Marvin Harrison Sr. He's an unbelievable route runner. That's his A-plus game. He's fast, but he's not a burner. I think he deals with physicality a little bit differently than other receivers in the class, but he's going to get open for 10 years plus because of his route running. He's got great hands. He's bigger than his dad as well. Going to Arizona, I would imagine that at minimum, he fills in that red zone role that DeAndre Hopkins had once upon a time with Kyler Murray. But I also think he could be in line for as many as 9 targets per game with the Cardinals as their alpha number 1 wide receiver. Do not be surprised to see Marvin Harrison go in round 3 of your drafts this summer.
Yeah, I have a hard enough time figuring out who to take at the end of round 2. And the Cardinals, that's a team where Kyler Murray has already shown his number 1 receiver can get huge fantasy production. Yeah, I don't know, man. Round 3, yes. You think 24th overall, 2-3 turn is too early?
We don't know what the preseason holds, and if he goes out in training camp in preseason and he puts up a show, then yes, the steam could get that high. But then the question is, who are you taking him over? Are you taking him over, DJ Moore at that point? Does that sound good? It might. We just don't know what it's going to be like by then. I also think he's going to be the 101 in rookie drafts, with the exception being if the team picking at 101 needs a quarterback in a super flex, they'll probably go Caleb Williams. But otherwise, I think he's going to be the 101.
All right. How about Nabers? Let's talk about him. He's a different type of player and very exciting.
He has unbelievable acceleration, Adam. He's like a Tesla. Have you ever been in a Tesla and you see that car accelerate? It's instantaneous. And that's what Nabers does well. I also think he's a little more physical than Marvin Harrison, but I don't think his route running is as good. I'm not sure his hands are as good. I still think his hands are fine, but I don't think he's necessarily going to have the mitts that Marvin Harrison has. So there's a little bit of cleanup for Malik Nabers, but I do think he can be a wide receiver 1. And I think his speed is going to absolutely make an impact. I know people are nervous about him going to 3 teams, the Patriots, the Chargers, the Giants. I think if he's in LA, I think he's going to be just fine. He could be the number 1 receiver. He's got Justin Herbert there. That's a great quarterback, and he's going to lead that team in targets. So I'm kind of rooting for that option, unless another team makes a big splash, trades up to get Malik Nabers.
And Rome Odunze, I don't know that he's getting as much buzz as the other 2, but some people have him as the number 2 receiver. I'm not sure how many have him as the number 1 receiver, but he's in that elite tier out of Washington, 6'3", 215 pounds. Thoughts on him?
He's kind of in between Nabers and Harrison in a bunch of different ways. I think he's a better route runner than Nabers. I don't think he's quite as fast as Nabers, might be as fast, maybe a little faster than Marvin Harrison. I think he's got great hands as well. He could probably compete with Harrison in that regard. And he's got size like Marvin Harrison. So I like Odunze a lot. And I think that he could also end up being a number 1 receiver for his team. And he could end up he might fall out of the top 9, the way that this draft is shaping up. And that would be amazing value for whatever team ends up taking him. But he's another one of those receivers. I think Nabers and Odunze will probably get attention in that round 5 range. And they're both going to be very early picks in rookie-only drafts. Round fantasy drafts, not the NFL draft. I think they'll be taken before round 5 in the NFL draft.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if Odunze makes it to the Jets at 10, or any of these guys make it to the Jets at 10. I don't really want to see the Falcons or Bears draft one of these wide receivers. It would just be a bit of a headache.
Agreed.
But the Jets would be pretty interesting. Or also, I think there's a small chance, the Chargers could trade back to 11 with the Vikings and still end up with one of these guys. That would be fun.
Sure. And so you could take everything that I said about Nabers, apply it to Odunze, because I think he would be the one that would make it to 11. That would be outstanding.
Mm-hmm. That's Dave Richard. I am Adam Azer, and we will talk to you on Monday on Fantasy Football Today in 5.